So before I get into this review, I'm going to be going over how my rating system works. So 10 to 7 is a positive review for the movie, with 10 being an absolute beautiful day. 9? It's a 9. Watch the movie. 8 is great, 7 is good. 6 to 4, now getting into the mixed section, with 6 being a possible good. 5, a 50-50. 4, not quite bad, but you get a pass. 3 and under, now being in the negative section, with 3 being bad, 2 being really bad, 1 being the gates of hell, and 0 being nowhere you want to go. So let's get this started. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you are familiar with this channel, if you are new, it's great to see you and I hope that I can please you. Now, grab a piece of candy. Come on, just a piece. I said a piece, man. Damn. In this review, we're going to be talking about the Mortuary collection. So first thoughts on this movie upon viewing it. It's very fantasy based. Like, in the sense of, like, it feels like it's aimed more towards, like, the youthful age, kind of, at this point. Like, and I guess in a sense, like, kind of like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, or like Goosebumps. Just, again, with more of a fantasy vibe to it. And normally, something like this may not quite keep my interest, mainly because I find intros to be very important, and this wasn't quite the feel that I had expected from this movie. And the film has a pretty hefty runtime, but I just could not help but not turn away due to the chilling atmosphere, and although not quite the intro or the feel fully that I had expected, still a very solid ghost story setup and pace to it. This feels like a movie that is solely for the Halloween season. The presence is fine here, if not pleasing, just the direction, the way that the movie goes about things. The film keeps, again, this very haunting and chilling, gothic, playful kind of vibe to it. But the dialogue sometimes and the pace, when the film actually goes into that anthology format, kind of loses me. It really kind of goes down this route that really just shifts from its audience that you had expected in the beginning, and targets and aims more in kind of like an Edgar Allan Poe-like feel, which isn't bad at all. I just started to feel early on like A, it's trying to have fun with all sorts of different routes, or B, it didn't know which one quite to use. But in saying that though, once the film did actually start telling these stories, it really does things that actually get you invested, that at least I kind of wish would normally happen in anthology horror films. It really uses its budget to offer toward the scares that would work appropriately. And based off of what some of these stories actually display, the film actually kind of goes into depth with that. We have a character here who is also the narrator, who is actually telling these stories to a younger audience in the movie. And this audience tackles these questions. And while that's a nice thing to do, I feel like the film could have pulled off like scares that were actually scary. It could have honestly done like any scare it actually desired. The film has a good budget, it's got well enough storytelling, the acting and the atmosphere is just fine, and honestly offers some of the coolest special effects I've seen in a horror film lately. It just, again, kind of chooses an unexpected route toward the fashion and display of this film, and it just kind of sort of let me down. But again, going back to the stories in this film, they're engaging and varied enough to entertain people, whether it be humor, horror, or just straight up looking clean and polished as hell, which this movie does. And again, offering believable and genuine acting and offering intelligent storytelling as well. Though again, the film's strongest piece, in my opinion, amongst a handful of positive notes to it, is not just how well it shifts from different age groups, but also with what those audiences are actually looking for. There's a good blend of, again, humor and horror, both more or less expected, and also not quite what you'd expect, and then also, in some way, for the most part, sometimes works. And some scares that, aren't, like, over the top, some that are just chilling so it fits the film's set per se, and some that actually give a more definable fright. And again, I feel like the film for the most part does classy and well for what it's trying to aim for. It does things that I think are very concentrated and sometimes even ballsy. I just think that it focuses on those things sometimes, and nothing specifically, more than it should. Sometimes to the point where it actually lost me to a degree and kind of lost my full attention. But still, in the end, the stories for the most part are still unexpected enough, mostly in a good way, and original enough that they kept my interest in more ways than none. They just weren't fully what I had hoped for and what I think they entirely could have been. I'm going to give the Mortuary collection a 6.3. And sometimes the film just kind of cuts away when things actually get good, and it just kind of kills that momentum and the adrenaline. That's my final take on this film. So that was my review on the Mortuary collection. This is kind of seemingly like a more underrated horror film currently that has been released. I actually didn't know like really anything about this film going into it. I watched like a clip of the trailer only once, and it wasn't really something I fully knew that I wanted to review. It was just kind of like, well, you know, I gotta have something to review, and I'm feeling like a horror movie, and this is new, and I don't know anything about it, so why not? And yeah, this actually wasn't too bad. It got a lot of things right. I just don't, again, feel like it was what it entirely could or should have been. Guys, I hope that you really enjoyed this review. I am going to be taking a couple of days off after this review. I have cranked out just a lot in the past few days, from Haunting of Bly Manor to even The Lie, as well as the Creep film series, and I'm just gonna kind of, you know, take a little bit to rest before I dive into more October reviews. So again, to those that are new to the channel, I hope that you enjoyed this review, and I hope that you come back for more, and I'm glad to see you on the channel. And to those who do watch my reviews, thank you, and it is also great to see you. Let me know in the comments below, guys, or just, you know, email me or message me wherever social media, preferably Instagram, if there's anything in particular that you guys would like me to review this month. If I have time to actually, you know, cram it into the lineup that I have ahead. But without further ado, thank you guys for checking out the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next October review.